Hikikomori, literally translated as withdrawal, is a mental illness which constrains young Japanese men and women to live out months and even years of their lives in a single room. It was first identified as a widespread social phenomenon by Tamaki Saito, the same man who coined the phrase hikikomori. Saito, now widely acknowledged as the foremost authority on hikikomori, has written extensively on the subject and dedicated his entire career to developing a comprehensive analysis on what causes this particular variety of social withdrawal. In addition to Saito, some other scholars acknowledge this mental illness as a phenomenon exclusive to Japan. The official definition of hikikomori is one produced by Dr. Saito himself. He defines hikikomori, or hiki as they are known colloquially, as those who become recluses in their own home, lasting at least 6 months, with onset by the latter half of the third decade of life, and from which other psychiatric disorders do not better explain the primary symptom of withdrawal. This definition was reinforced by an official document on hikikomori which was released by the Japanese Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare in 2003. For such a complex issue, the history of hikikomori is a rather short one. Early cases of hikikomori likely date back to the mid-1970s, with the first scholarship on the issue appearing in 1978 in a paper on taikyaku, or cases of withdrawal neurosis. By and large, study and general awareness of hikikomori remained extensively non-existent throughout the 1980s and 90s. This all changed by the early 2000s when several violent crimes sprung up in the news involving hikikomori. The most notable of these cases is the so-called House of Horror trial, in which Nobuyuki Saito admitted to kidnapping a 9-year-old girl and holding her in his room for 10 years. He was by definition a hikikomori. Speculation on the cause of this nationally unique social phenomenon is diverse, to say the least. Dr. Saito suggests that this problem lies primarily with Japanese history and society. He draws a relationship between this modern, individual withdrawal and the historical withdrawal and isolation of the Japanese island during the Tokugawa era. Interestingly, certain parallels can be drawn between this association and the suggestion that high suicide rates in Japan could be linked to cultural history which glorified suicide. Dr. Saito further suggests that a fundamental flaw in the mother-son bond in Japanese society might enable this exceptionally introverted behavior. Of course, further theories do exist on this issue, ranging from obsessive tendencies to social pressures at home and at school. Considering that there may be anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million hikikomori living in Japan today, that is, 1% of the overall population, social welfare programs have begun to pop up to combat this vast issue. The largest, New Start, was extensively featured in a 2006 New York Times article on hikikomori titled Shutting Themselves In. This organization encourages hikikomori to leave their rooms and rejoin society by reintroducing them incrementally to the outside world. This process eventually culminates with a hikikomori's transference to a halfway house, where they hopefully find a job and enter society as a productive, socially adjusted member of the greater Japanese workforce. Between Dr. Sato's scholarship, a growing international awareness, and non-profit organizations like New Start, things look very promising for the eradication of this mass social disease. Someday very soon, 100,000 urban exiles will step out of their rooms and bask in the natural warmth of a brilliant sun.